Well, a very, very happy Wednesday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Glad you could join me. We got a rubber game this afternoon coming up at Petco Park at 1:10. We're going to get into that. We got a lot to cover today. Reminder, with the Padres being off tomorrow, we're going to have a special 7 o'clock show on Thursday night. And we've had two of them. They've gone very, very well. And we're going to try to stay with that for the near future. So hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow night, be able to get ready for a big road trip. And Padres got a big road trip coming up that we're going to tell you about. I want to remind everyone, please, if you're tuning in for the very first time or you've been tuned in for a while and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Trying to drive our viewership to 4,000. Also, if you would like, if you would turn on your notifications, like for tomorrow. You may forget, because normally we go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You may forget that we're having a special show tomorrow night, and that takes the place of the Friday show. Also, next week, going to be the 4th of July coming up at the end of the week. We're going to do a show on Monday, and that'll be our only show for the week. And just for you fans out there who'd like to hear me once again on radio, next Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be sitting in for Fletch on the Fletch Zone with Sammy Long. Sammy Long and I'll be doing talk shows on 760. San Diego Sports 760 AM will be on Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 2. So bringing me out of mothballs to go back on the radio for a couple of days, and very appreciative of that. And we're going to have fun. Sammy's a great guy, and we'll have a very, very good time. And then we're going to celebrate the 4th of July. And then July 7th, boom, we'll be right back doing our 3-day-a-week show. So hopefully you'll make plans for that. But we got a lot to cover today. I want your opinions on everything that's going on with the Padres right now. We're going to give you an update on Yu Darvish. We're going to give you an update on Michael King a little bit later on in the program. But a couple of things that I wanted to get to right out of the gate. First of all, and this is non-Padre topic, but I don't know if you saw what happened last night at Rate Field in Chicago. I mean, a despicable act. Ketel Marte, who's an outstanding player, I think one of the better players in all of baseball. He's had an incredible career to this point with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and a guy that has fought through a lot of injuries, a lot of personal things off the field. Well, last night, a heckler, and this is where I got problems with fans. I love fans. I think, 99.9% of the fans, they're good. But there's always a jackass in the crowd. And last night, what happened at Rate Field in Chicago is totally 100% unacceptable. A guy, and I'm not even going to call him a gentleman, a person, it was a male, yelled out at Ketel Marte. Now, here's a guy that plays, 3 games a year in Chicago at Rate Field, okay? And not every year does he come there. So this guy went out of his way to look into Ketel Marte's background. Ketel Marte's mother passed away in 2017 in a car accident. And this guy was yelling some obscenity using Ketel Marte's mother part of it. Totally unacceptable. And Ketel Marte started crying. And Torey Lovello came out of the dugout, Geraldo Perdomo, all of his teammates came around him, gave him a hug. Totally unacceptable. This is where I've got a problem. I know you bought a ticket, but that doesn't give you the right to demean a ball player. If you want to say, hey, you're a bum, that's fine. Or you stink, that's fine. But when you get personal, totally out of line. And vulgar language is totally out of line, even if it's not addressed at a ball player, but vulgar language in the crowd among other people that have paid good money to sit in those seats is unacceptable, especially when you got a lot of children around. This guy was, they sought him out and they got him out of the ballpark, and I hope he doesn't get an opportunity to come back for a long, long time. Totally unacceptable. That's when a player almost wants to go into the stands, and I never want to see a player go into the stands. If a fan comes onto the field, he gets whatever he gets. If a player knocks him down or the security guards tackle him and break his arm, tough. You didn't belong there. But I don't want to see players go into the stands because once they go into the stands, they're fair game too. And I give Ketel Marte a lot of credit because he may have gone over there and looked to get after this guy. And nothing would have been accomplished with that. He might also get hurt. But if a fan is going to come onto the field, which he didn't last night, but if a fan ever comes on the field, then hey, if the security guards take him down a little bit extra and take him in the back, give him the business a little bit, tough. You shouldn't have been on the field. But I go to games, and every once in a while there's some guy that's had too many beers that doesn't know how to act, and he thinks he's some big shot. Now I don't know if alcohol played a part in this last night or not. Even if it did, that's unacceptable. When you start talking about family members, let alone deceased family members, that's way below the belt. That's way below the belt. And I heard an incredible interview with Torey Lovullo, the manager of Arizona, talking about, his love for his players, everything he's been through with Ketel Marte over the last 9 years. It was really worth watching. It was on X. And if you didn't like Torey Lovullo, you love him after listening to what he had to say last night. But when you go to a game, remember there's kids around. Act like an adult. That's what I'd say. Act like an adult. But I'm glad they found who this was. They got him out of the ballpark, and hopefully they don't let him come back anytime soon. Okay, the other thing that I want to bring up, and then we're going to recap the Padre games a little bit. I've heard a lot about this trade in 2022 that brought Juan Soto to San Diego. Okay, I was not a big Juan Soto fan even before he got here. I probably knew too much about Juan Soto. But here's the deal. And I know we're going to pay the price for that deal for many years to come with guys like C.J. Abrams, James Wood, and, of course, Mackenzie Gore, who's going to be pitching against Nick Pivetta today. But here's the deal, folks. We want to win a World Series. We want to win a World Series. And they had a good ball club in 2022. It didn't work out. They got beaten in the NLCS by the Phillies, the better ball club. Juan Soto was good, but not great. He had a very nice 2023 year, especially the second half. But we're going to hear about this trade. AJ Preller is going to get beat up and down about this deal. But you know what? He wanted to win a championship. Peter Seidler probably knew his health was so fragile he may not be around that long. He wanted to win a world championship for the city on his way out. And, watching Abrams, I knew he was going to be a good player. Two things that I questioned when he was here. Remember, he's 20 years old when he came to San Diego. They drafted him in the first round. And, he went through the minor leagues. And the guy could always hit. But you question, you're going to be able to hit for power? And he needed to improve his arm strength. And power normally comes as you get to be about 23, 24, 25. You get your man strength. Now, as far as arm strength, you go out and work on it. His arm's a lot stronger now than it was when he was with the Padre organization because it's natural working out in the winter and, becoming a man rather than a young man. And so Soto comes along with Josh Bell, who's now back with Washington and having a miserable year. I know he hit a home run Monday night, but he's had just an awful year. But you look back on that trade. Padres got Juan Soto and Josh Bell. And then Washington Nationals got Luke Voigt, who is out of Major League Baseball. He's in Japan now. He was playing AAA and just got out of his deal, and he went back to Japan. Abrams, Robert Hassel III, back in AAA, did make his Major League debut this year. He's only 23 years of age. And James Wood, who is a star. I know he went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts last night, but the night before, he had an RBI double, a big home run that hit the foul pole. 22 years of age. And, you're going to have a great career. Mackenzie Gore. And then another young man who was very young at the time, Harlan Susana, a right-handed pitcher, pitching in Double-A in the Eastern League, and he's only 21 years of age. And he got a big, powerful arm. He got to clean up his walks a little bit. He got 20 walks this year in 26 innings, but he also has 38 strikeouts. So everybody's beating AJ and the Padres up. Hey, they were rolling the dice, man. They were going for it. They figured we bring in the big bat of Soto. You get Josh Bell, and Josh Bell wasn't great here in San Diego, but they went for it. They came up short, and now, unfortunately, you pay the price. And you can say, well, the different guys we got Michael King and we got Dylan Cease by doing this and that. Hey, the bottom line, tell me you wouldn't like to have those three guys, Wood, Abrams, and Gore. Okay. I mean, Dylan Cease's not going to be back here next year. Michael King, he may come back because if he didn't able to come back and pitch, and we'll get into talking about him in a minute. We don't know. He got 15 million laying there for him next year, but if he comes back and pitches well, like he was pitching before he went on the IL, then he's probably going to opt out and go sign a big deal somewhere else. I have no idea what the Padres are doing. I have no idea what kind of money they have. I mean, it is so quiet with the front office right now. I don't know if AJ's hands are tied. I don't know if they want to spend money. They want to get rid of money. I have no idea what they're doing. It has been quiet. Since John Seidler took over, we haven't heard word one. Other than the ballpark is packed every night. They've had 34 sellouts so far this year. But I thought I'd address the deal because, I mean, I'd love to have those guys. I love watching those guys play. They're great players. And a guy like Gore doesn't have a great record, but he's got a 3.19 ERA. He's really coming into his own. And Abrams has already been to one All-Star game. Him and Wood may be going to the All-Star game this year. Those guys are good players, man. Mike Rizzo got a good deal. And I think at the end of the day, you can say, well, who won the trade? Well, I think it's pretty obvious who won the trade because the guy that we wanted now is playing right field for the New York Mets, Juan Soto. And, you know, I think last year a big reason why the Padres were in pretty good shape is that they moved Soto out of here, and it was addition by subtraction. The guy was a real, he was not, he wasn't a bad guy. He was just a different guy that was into being Juan Soto. I don't think he was the greatest teammate in the world. Let's put it that way. We'll leave it at that. Okay, so he ended up going to the Yankees last year. Now on to the New York Mets. He's still very young, going to be a Hall of Famer, but I'm glad he's not here in San Diego. And I wish these other guys were, but hey, I can't blame the Padres. AJ, they were going for the big banana that year, and it just came up short. Okay, let's talk about the first two games of the series. Again, rubber game today at 1:10. Monday night, Fernando Tatis, bat flip bobblehead night, 44,074. Washington wins at 10-6. The two former Padres I've been talking about, C.J. Abrams, James Wood, killed the Padres Monday night. Abrams 3 for 5, 3 runs scored, had his 16th stolen base. James Wood 3 for 5, RBI double, 3-run homer off the right field foul pole, 3 runs scored, 4 RBIs. And Stephen Kolek just didn't have it. 4 1/3, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned. Throwing error to start the bottom of the fourth, never recovered. He was out of the ball game. Wandy Peralta came in, really struggled. Inning in the third, 5 hits, a run, a walk, 4 strikeouts. Brian Hoying making his season debut looked great. An inning in the third, 2 strikeouts, really looked sharp, I thought, and that's going to really add to this bullpen. And I don't know if they're going to be able to use him in back-to-back outings. They'll probably wait and see on that a little bit. And then David Morgan, 2/3 of an inning, hit a run, couple of punch outs. Yuki Matsui had nothing the other night. An inning in the third, 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned, a walk, 2 strikeouts. Really, the Nats cuffed him around pretty good. Offensively, the other night, 3-run homer in the ninth by Fernando. That was the big blow. Manny did hit his 13th homer. A couple of hits by Gavin Sheets. And Jackson Merrill had a couple of hits along with a walk. But the Padres 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position. The Nationals on Monday night 7 of 14 with runners in scoring position. So they took game one. Last night, Tuesday, Padres eke out a 4-3 victory. They rallied after being down 3-0, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 1 more in the sixth. And boy, I'll tell you, Davey Martinez had the perfect angle, the manager for Washington. Perfect angle. On that ground ball by Iglesias to Nate Lowe at first base, he could have come home and got the Gavin Sheets. Gavin Sheets not a great runner and didn't get a great break, it didn't look like. And Nate Lowe decided to take the easy route and go to first base to get the out at first to move runners up to second and third, but it drove home the fourth run of the ball game that proved to be the game-winning run. And Nate Lowe had plenty of time to make a play at the plate, so the Padres got a gift on that. And then, the big thing last night, Ryan Berger, and we may get, more information today, hopefully today, because they're going to be traveling and they're going to be in Cincinnati. And I don't know if we'll have to wait till Friday to get information. But Ryan Berger, who really kind of struggled early, but kind of was hanging in there, knocked out of the game when he took that line drive off the bat of the Nats, Jacob Young. It hit like in the forearm, right elbow area, caromed off, hit him in the ribs. He had to come out of the ball game. 3 innings plus one hitter, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Not one of his better efforts, but he was hanging in there. And hopefully he's going to be okay. That's one thing. Padres can ill afford anybody to go on the IL in the starting rotation. That's for darn sure. But how about the bullpen last night? This bullpen bailed them out big time, and we'll see what they got left in the bullpen today. 6 shutout innings last night, only allowing 2 hits and no walks and 5 strikeouts from the bullpen. Adrian Morejo was fantastic last night. 2 innings, 1 hit, a strikeout. Jason Adam, they extended him. This guy's been amazing. Now, I know he probably won't make the all-star team because, setup guys don't necessarily make the all-star team. But Jason Adam is having an all-star season. Inning and 2/3, a hit, a strikeout, goes to 6-3 on the year, lowers his ERA down to 1.77. Jeremiah Estrada back on track, an inning and a third, couple of punch-outs. Robert Suarez picked up his 22nd save of the year, 1 inning and a punch-out. Good effort. Hometown product out of Rancho Bernardo, Trevor Williams drops to 3-9. He went 5 plus 2 hitters last night, gave up 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, served up that home run in the ball game, and he takes the loss. Offensively last night, man, Padres had 7 hits. So did Washington. But Jackson Merrill, 1 for 4 night. Manny, 1 for 4. Arise in the cleanup spot, 2 for 4. Gavin Sheets, 1 for 3. A walk, his 12th double. Martin Maldonado ran into one, his 4th homer of the year. Padres now 11-12 in the month of June. So that's getting back to that 500 mark. Padres over the last almost 2 months are 1 game under 500. Okay, let's take a look at today's ball game. Baseball, hopefully under the sun at Petco Park. Final game of the 6-game homestand. Padres with a win today. They'd go to 4-2 on the homestand. They took 2 out of 3 from Kansas City. Hopefully they can take 2 out of 3 from Washington. You got to win these series. You got to win series. So this afternoon at 1:10, you got left-hander Mackenzie Gore, 3-7 and a 3.19 going against the veteran right-hander Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta pitching very, very well this year, 7-2 mark. Mackenzie Gore, making a 17 start, 3-7 and a 3.19, 26 years of age, 6-2, 6'2", 193. Career record, and I threw this out there just because people kind of want to know what Mackenzie Gore's doing. Career record of 24-33 with a 4 even ERA, but now he's starting to put it into gear. I mean, he's 26 years old, starting to put things into place. He's pitched a career 465 and 2/3 frames at the big league level. He's got 527 strikeouts and 186 walks. And with the Padres back in 2022, his rookie year, he pitched 16 games, 13 starts, was 4-4 and a 4.50 ERA. So great matchup today with Nick Pivetta going against Mackenzie Gore. You got to like that matchup a great deal. Okay, I want to get into the Padres' remaining schedule, and then we're going to get out and we're going to get to our coach's crew here shortly. Padres off tomorrow. Then they're in Cincinnati on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then on to Philadelphia Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Not going to be easy road trip. Cincinnati's playing pretty well. They're right in the wild card hunt. We know how good Philadelphia is. Padres always, even when the Padres are good, they struggle against Philadelphia. So they got a 6-game road trip there. Then they're off on July 3rd. And then July 4th, They're going to be back at Petco Park, and this is going to be a good homestand. It's going to be a really good homestand. Friday, July 4th, Bruce Bochy and the Texas Rangers are in town. So they've got Boch on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then on Monday, July 7th through July 10th, they've got the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's going to be a key series. Arizona got all kinds of guys hurt. Corbin Carroll's got an injured wrist. Gabriel Moreno, their catcher, down on the IL. They're going to get James McCann from Atlanta. Atlanta released him so he could get to the big league level with Arizona. I don't know how much more James McCann has left, but anyways, he's going to be on the roster. So from the 7th to the 10th, you got Arizona. And then in town before the All-Star break, July 11th, 12th, and 13th, you got the Philadelphia Phillies All-Star break. July 14th will be the Home Run Derby. Tuesday, July 15th, the 95th All-Star game in Atlanta, Georgia. And then to start the second half, if that last, 10 games or so wasn't tough enough, the Padres have to go back out on the road for a 10-game road trip to start the second half of the season. And they go 3 in Washington. Then they go down to Miami. And then on the way back, they get the opportunity to stop by Busch Stadium and play the Cardinals for 4 days. Man, I don't know, folks. I don't know if they're going to make it. Seriously, I don't know if they're going to make it. I mean, they've got a tough schedule, and they got to get some guys back. They've got to get some guys back. Okay, before we get to Coach's Crew, I want to give you the roster update. Jason Hayward officially released. Hayward DFA'd on Sunday, officially released, so he's a free agent. He can sign, a minor league deal, major league deal. He can go anywhere he wants. 95 plate appearances, hit 176, 2 homers, 12 RBIs. I think Father Time has caught up on him. We talked about this on Monday. April, he had knee inflammation, cost him some time, came back, hurt an oblique back on May 24th, was trying to work his way back, went down to El Paso, had a rehab assignment, went 2 for 21, and you knew it was only a matter of time before he was going to be let go. So Jason Hayward, a free agent. Now tonight, and Mike Show was trying to be funny with the media yesterday, trying to guess where Yu Darvish was going to do a simulated game. He's doing it at Lake Elsinore. It's like top secret, double top secret. But he's doing a simulated game prior to the Lake Elsinore Storms game tonight. They'll face minor league hitters. They wanted a control environment. He's going to try to go, I think, 2 innings. They probably got a number of pitches, but he's going to throw a simulated game where you throw an inning, you get 3 outs, you go sit down for 7 or 8 minutes, you come back out, and you throw another inning. And they wanted it in a control environment. Now, I don't care what his numbers are. I don't care what his velocity is. I don't care, if he walked a guy or gave up 3 hits or gave up a home run. I want to know how he feels tomorrow and the next day. Is he going to be able to get on a regular routine? So, again, I'm not holding my breath about Yu Darvish, and I'm certainly not holding my breath about Michael King. Now, Michael King, you may have seen on X, he did throw a little bit the other day. And apparently he threw pain-free. And Mike Show was talking about, he's able to throw now and hit where he wants to throw. He's not having to kind of navigate it a little bit. He's able to, free and easy, as Andy Ashby would always say. And they're calling it now right shoulder, long thoracic nerve injury. Okay, that sounds pretty thoracic. That always bothers me because that's stuff where guys, I think Matt Harvey had that, the former New York Met pitcher, and he never came back and was the same. And I'm not saying that's the same thing that King has, but when you hear thoracic, that does throw up a little bit of a red flag until you see the guy back out on the mound healthy. So he's back throwing, but, throwing easy, not, full bore, doing all that stuff. Okay, before we get to the stand, let's get to Coach's crew today and see what you fans have to say. Everybody should have an opinion on what's going on. This time of year, man, there's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces with ball clubs, a lot of moving pieces. So give me your take. Let's see. Canipulus, garbage, fans can ruin life. Had a fist fight happen at my kid's Pony League game 2 weeks ago. but dudes were drunk fools. Well, if they're drunk, they should be asked to leave by an administrator, whoever runs that field. Just ask them to leave. I mean, people, it's like mothers, and I'm not going to just point out mothers, but dads too. They come to like soccer games, little league games, and they got their, make it look like they're drinking a soft drink or drinking coffee, and they got alcohol in it. I mean, seriously. I mean, if you've got to come to your kids' games and be drinking alcohol, are you serious? I mean, what a loser! You're a total loser. I'm sorry, you're a loser. And you're talking to a guy and hearing it from a guy that grew up around the bar business. That's what my dad did for a living. But you got to know when to shut it down. And if you're coming to a little league game or a pony league game, high school game, any athletic event where kids are involved and you've got to drink alcohol, you may want to check into AA. Seriously. I mean, that's ridiculous. And I'm sorry because it puts everybody, and it really embarrasses the child whose parent is acting like a fool. I mean, that's hard to overcome. You talk about deteriorating your core and self-esteem. Have your dad or mom show up drunk. I mean, that's just awful. Absolutely awful. I can't deal with that. But thanks for bringing that to my attention. I mean, fans have gotten out of hand. They really have. Big Sam, good morning, Coach. I've heard some rumblings about a possible trade for Taylor Ward from the Halos. What would you give up for him, and would you be happy to get him? Yeah, because he's a proven player. He's not hitting for much of an average. I didn't see what he did last night, but I did see the day before he was hitting 211. But the guy, he got some pop. Not a bad outfielder, not a great outfielder. But yeah, I would take him. I would definitely take Taylor Ward. I don't think you'd have to give up a whole lot for him. You're not going to have to give up I don't think, a major league prospect. They'd probably like to save some money. And, one of the things, and we haven't talked a lot about the Angels, but I do want to wish Ron Washington the very best. I know he's been sitting out. He's got some health issues, and the team doesn't want him in the dugout right now. But he and the staff have done an incredible job with that ball club. They're still a little bit under 500, but they're doing a good job up there. They're doing as well as they possibly can. And that Angel situation is kind of unfortunate. Artie Moreno, I think he's connected, but also disconnected as an owner. I'd like to see the Angels be sold myself, but I still think they've got a lot of work to do with their farm system. But I would take Taylor Ward in a New York second because that also would strengthen your bench. One guy wouldn't be playing to be able to come off the bench. And by the way, I was hoping maybe we'll know tomorrow. Brandon Lockridge did report to El Paso, even though his wife is going to have a baby tomorrow. So he went there, probably coming back. And hopefully tomorrow night, by the time we get on the air at 7 o'clock tomorrow night doing our show, we'll have some good news regarding Brandon Lockridge. But no, I would take Taylor Ward. There's no question about that. All right, let's keep them coming. And again, if we don't get to you today, we'll get those on our coach's mailbag as well. Coach, can you comment on how bad umpires have been? Some really bad calls behind the plate. Steve, yeah, the umpires right now, I think umpiring, even though I think these guys are as well trained as any umpires ever, they don't seem to, not only balls and strikes, they don't seem to have a great feel for the game and being able to read a game. And I know you're not asking about this, but I got to go back to the College World Series the other day. And it was on Sunday. LSU ended up winning. They defeated Coastal Carolina. And I was watching the game. Kevin Schnall, the head coach of Coastal Carolina, was barking from the dugout. Angel Campos, a former major league umpire, didn't last very long in the major leagues, I might add. Said he warned them, and he ended up throwing him out in the first inning, and the first base coach got thrown out. Then they were going to give him extra games because he kept arguing. But here's the deal. Angel Camp, number one, his strike zone was abysmal in the first inning. Abysmal. He was missing pitches right and left. Kevin Schnall told him he missed 3. Well, I think he missed more than 3, actually. I think Kevin Schnall was being kind. But then he gets kicked out of the game. And if you're an umpire, number one, you never want to kick a coach out, especially in the national championship game. in the first inning. After, 18 pitches or something like that, he got tossed, and the first base coach got tossed as well. The umpire could have diffused the entire situation rather than yelling back at the coach. He should have walked over to him and said, "Hey, look, I don't want to hear any more for you. We got a national championship game. I want to keep you in the game, but you got to keep yourself in the game." But they just started going back and forth. He threw him out, and then the coach's going to give him the heat. And I get that. But umpiring right now, number one, I umpired one summer. I did 73 games one summer, umpiring for the San Diego County Umpire Association. I was a junior college baseball coach, and a guy by the name of Bill Boyd, who I'd coached football with at Torrey Pines, goes, "Hey, why don't you come out and umpire?" And man, my dad umpired for 13 years in San Diego. He actually umpired with Doug Harvey once upon a time when Doug would do games before he'd go to spring training. Just get his timing down. And my dad became pretty good friends with him. I umpired. I loved it. And I remember I had just gotten my first junior college coaching job in the summer of 1981. And I was playing my last summer of baseball over in Escondido on the semi-pro ball club. And I'm playing first base. And the first base umpire was a guy named Bill Deegan. And I saw Bill Deegan just recently passed away here in the last few months. And he said to me when I was playing first base, he goes, John, he goes, "You love this game." He goes, "What do you think about going to umpiring school?" And I go, "Mr. Deegan, I really like umpiring because I've done it in Little League and Pony League and stuff like that." And I said to him at the time, I just got my first junior college coaching job and, I want to give it a shot. But umpiring's great. I loved umpiring. And I think I was pretty damn good at it, actually. But sometimes coaches act up and you got to eject them. But, Steve, I agree with you. I can remember umpires from back in the 70s and 80s and 90s more than I can remember umpires now. They're so nondescript. They have no personality, a lot of them. And I don't know, maybe Major League Baseball wants that. But these guys have got to bear down and get better. Now, you're going to miss pitches. I mean, guys are throwing the ball 95 to 100 miles an hour. You're going to miss pitches. Just like, pitchers are going to miss their spots all the time. And I have no problems, a little bit outside, that far outside, a ball and a half outside. I'm okay with that being called a strike. Now, if that same pitch is on the inside corner, I got a problem because it's unfair advantage to the hitter. But behind the plate, I've seen some bad umpiring this year. And I've always been a big believer, especially as a coach, you tell a bad umpire he's bad, he gets worse. And the umpires are not going to adjust to you. You've got to adjust to the umpire. You got to figure out, what areas he's going to call strikes. And then you hope at least if you do that, he will be more consistent. But that's not always the case. And you're going to have good umpires, bad umpires. But I'll tell you this, and we were talking about it the other day on the program. Somebody asked me about the ABS system. They ran it in spring training, and if a hitter or a pitcher or catcher, didn't like the call, they could challenge to tap their helmet. And I think what we found actually was the umpires were actually doing a pretty good job. It was about 50-50, to be honest with you, in spring training. And it was kind of a lot of drama, because they did it really quick. And you'd be watching the scoreboard and it would say strike or ball. It was really kind of cool. Now, I don't know if I'd want to see that, 12 times a game, but the way it worked in spring training was actually pretty good. But I still like the human element. That's the thing that's made baseball great. It's an imperfect game played by imperfect people. And be honest with you, I kind of miss some of the good old-fashioned arguments. I kind of enjoy some of those arguments. A lot of these managers now seem to be pretty milquetoast because of a lot of the rules. So I hope that gave you a good answer, Steve. What else we got today? Coach, don't blush, but love the diversity of experience you bring, mostly local to our community. You're a San Diego treasure. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. Hey, you know what? I love sports. I love athletes. I love coaches. I was looking in the paper uh, today, and they had the coaches of the year. Kyle Williams, the women's basketball coach up at Rancho Bernardo, and Ron Hamamoto, the outgoing coach at Monte Vista. and both very, very deserving human beings. And I know Ronnie Hamamoto pretty well. I don't know Kyle Williams, but I know of him. And they both had incredible years, and Ron's had an incredible career, and Kyle Williams, he's far from being done. But I had a guy send me all the information last night. It was a young man that not a young man, he's my age, but he played at Mission Bay High, Bob Hartunian, great guy. Played basketball against Bobby when he was playing at Mission Bay. And he sent me the links to the articles that were in the paper today. And I wrote back, I go, hey, well deserved, but it's hard to pick. I mean, there are so many great coaches, both on the male and female side in San Diego. To pick only two people, that's tough. It's really tough. But I love athletes. I want to see every athlete, and I know not everybody's going to be a Division I player or a college player, but whether I go to a little league game or a softball game, I want all those athletes to be the best they can be. If they want to be good, man, get in there and grind and grind and grind, and you're going to have a lot of peaks and valleys. Sports are tough, man, and you got to be mentally strong, and you got to just keep forging and realize not every day scholarships are being given out. Okay, there are a lot of great athletes that never get a college scholarship for whatever reason. Maybe the school they wanted to go to didn't recruit them because they had people at their position. There are a lot of great athletes in San Diego that want to go to play college, and some of them get scholarships, some of them don't. And just because you don't get a scholarship doesn't mean you're not an outstanding player. Keep grinding. Somebody eventually is going to open their eyes and find you. But I appreciate the comments, and I've always kind of looked at myself as I'm every athlete's friend. And somebody I had dinner last night with a gentleman that played soccer for me with the Sockers. He was a really good player. A guy by the name of Eric Wonderly played at Poway High and played at USD, and then played a number of years with the Sockers. And he married a young lady a few years back. They've got two children now. And the girl that he married, her aunt went to high school with me. And we all had dinner. They live in North Carolina now. He's doing very well. She's a school teacher. And we had dinner with them last night. And they've got a boy that's very young. He's only going into, I think, fourth grade. And he's going to the U.S. futsal training. A very talented young ball player. He's only, 7 years old, and got a beautiful daughter. And we were talking just last night about all the different ins and outs of playing collegiate sports and youth sports. And it always comes back to working your way up the ladder. And Eric played here in San Diego in club soccer. Eventually, star at Poway, played with Craig Childs at Poway, actually, and then played at USD and had a very nice career at USD. But, it's just, we had a great dinner. I mean, it was fun seeing him. But the other catch is I married Eric and his wife, Courtney. I've been a part of 6 weddings. I've married 6 different couples, and happy to say all 6 of them are still married. And so when they come out, we always try to get together. Good people and beautiful kids, and it's kind of fun to see how they're walking through life. But thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. I just wish sometimes, to be honest with you, I could do more in the San Diego sports industry. I was a general manager of soccer for 6 years, but I still have a lot to give. And I still want to be part of the athletic landscape and help people and help athletes and help whoever I can in the sports world. That's what I'm all about. Richard Flores, Coach, do you feel the next San Diego LA will be more about playing the game and less drama? Is San Diego too emotional? Yeah, San Diego's probably too emotional, but that's okay. You know what? I would think next time there'll be some intensity, but I would certainly think they're going to be on their best behavior. And by the way, Robert Suarez was supposed to hear about his appeal on his suspension on Monday, and that hasn't come down yet. Maybe it'll come down today. Maybe it'll come down tomorrow on an off day when they're in Cincinnati. Again, they're in Cincinnati and then Philadelphia. And man, Cincinnati playing pretty good. They got some good young players there, and they got some dudes that can pitch. I haven't looked at the pitching matchups. We'll take a look at that tomorrow night. This is going to be a tough road trip. I mean, the remainder of the first half schedule, and by the way, today's game number 80 for the Padres. Game number 80 already. Think about that. That's amazing. But thank you, Richard. But there'll always be intensity anytime you talk Dodgers Padres. It's your birthday next week. What's your favorite kind of cake? And can you give me a holy Toledo right there? Joe, I like a lot of different cakes, and I mentioned this a couple of years ago on the radio. I like German chocolate cake. I haven't had one of those in a couple of years. So a German chocolate cake would probably be fine. I love frosting, but German chocolate, I used to have that a lot. My mom used to have those from time to time at home. And so German chocolate probably because I never have it. You have regular frosting and I remember as a kid, man, I wanted to eat the frosting more than I wanted to eat the cake. But Joe, hope you're doing well. And yeah, next Tuesday is my birthday. Think about that. How about that? Okay, let's get to the National League West standings, and we're going to give you the wild card standings as well. Dodgers won again, shocker. 49-31. They won last night in Colorado, 9-7. And the Giants got beat last night at home by the Marlins. They're 44-35. They're 4.5 games back. Padres remain 5.5 back at 43-36. Diamondbacks are playing pretty good baseball right now. They're right on the heels of the Padres at 41-38, 7.5 back. And then you got the Colorado Rockies at 18-61, 30.5 back. And we'll take a look at the wild card. By the way, I saw a note yesterday, and I haven't called him yet. Or texted him after he got let go by the Colorado Rockies. But apparently, the Rockies, I guess they gave Buddy about a month off. And the Rockies apparently, and we'll see if this comes to fruition, they're going to bring Buddy Black back and be involved with pitching. Not the pitching coach, but maybe be the pitching coordinator for the entire organization. And I think that would probably be a very good idea. Let's get to the wild card standings here, and we'll take a look. And you're going to realize just how tough this road trip could be for the Padres. You take a look at the wild card right now. Like I mentioned, the Phillies are playing great. They're winning the division, but it's neck and neck. The Mets right now, the one wild card, the Giants number 2. And then you've got the Brewers and Cardinals neck and neck. They're tied right now for third place. And look at it, both of them are playing great. I mean, the Mets have lost 9 of their last 10, yet they're still the leader in the clubhouse in the wild card. The Giants dropped 6 of 10, but the Brewers have won 7 of 10, and the Cardinals have won 8 out of their last 10. They're playing great ball. Then the Padres right now hanging in their half game back. You got Cincinnati, who you're going to see for 3 games this weekend, 2 back. Diamondbacks only 2.5 back. And hey, you know what? I don't think the Braves probably have a run in them. But hey, you never know. Padres need to put some W's on the board. They need to put some W's on the board. And then, after the All-Star break, then we're going to start really bearing down on who could they go get to help. And do they have money to go get somebody? But that's the wild card standings right now. If we were playing today, Padres wouldn't be in the wild card. They would not be in the National League playoffs this year, but only a half game back. We'll see where it goes. And again, they've played one less game than both the Cardinals and Brewers at this point in time. Okay, let's get to our coach's mailbag. See what we have from last show. And reminder, we're on tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Going to be fun. Quad pads. Do you think the Tatis Jr. lawsuit is a distraction for him? Yeah, I think it's been a problem. He may have some other off-field issues as well that we're not aware of. But I think probably. You think about that. The thing, I don't know. And they keep talking about, well, it's in Cali. He signed it in the Dominican Republic. So I don't know how this is going to work out, but right now he can owe $34 million to these people. He got a $2 million loan. I don't know why they would have ever done that. I got to believe that Fernando Tatis Sr. had some money, didn't burn all of his money. Not that he was a big money guy. But living in the DR, you're not going to, go through a few $1,000,000. But took $2 million. And I remember when he signed the long-term contract, that there was an article that came out talking about this. And I believe it's not only his baseball money. It's not only his baseball money. If he gets endorsements, does commercials or does appearances, I believe they get 10% of that as well, if I'm not mistaken. I may be off on that, but I don't think I am from my reading that original article. But twofold. It was dumb to take that money to allow them to basically get 10% the rest of your baseball career. Okay? I can't believe they needed the money that bad. But they got $2 million. They should have to pay some interest. If they took the money, they should have to pay some interest, but 90% interest to where they're paying for a lifetime. We'll see where it goes. But that was a bad deal all the way around. And it's not only the $340 million he's getting from the Padres now. When his early 30s or whenever the contract runs out, he signs another contract. This group would get another 10% of his contract. They own this guy until the courts say no mas. We'll see what happens. I think I'm looking at it from all angles. These guys may be a little bit shady, and they probably were very shady. But, we'll see where it goes. I think right now it's going to be very interesting. I could see it going either way myself. But no, I think it's a big distraction. I think it's a very big distraction, and I think there may be some other distractions as well. Mariah, 1998, is it more likely than not the Padres trade Salas? I think they should keep him, but if it works out for a few players we need, I wouldn't be opposed. That's a tough one. I don't want to see him traded. Number one, I want to see him get healthy to where he can get back on the field. He hadn't been on the field. They're saying July, but again, I don't know what he's doing. He's over in Arizona, last I heard, working out a little bit. But I don't think they'll trade him. You know why? They have held on to him so long now. And they just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. He's not going to be the catcher in 2026. I don't know if he'll be the catcher in 2027. Maybe in 2027, they'll bring him up. He got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. I saw a note the other day, and I haven't seen anything official, but Martin Maldonado, who, ran into one last night, hit his 4th homer of the year. I don't know if he'll be with the team at the end of the year. They're going to have to upgrade. I mean, Diaz is not hitting, but Diaz has more of a chance to hit than Maldonado. And I don't know if they're going to keep both of these guys. I think Maldonado would be the odd guy out. There's a rumor out there, well, he's 38 years old, that he's probably going to retire at the end of the year. I haven't heard that officially, but that's kind of the rumblings. Tell you what, Padres ought to hire this guy or work with a catcher or just make him the personal coach for Ethan Salas, if he would be willing to do it. Because Sal's got a chance to be a great player. I really think that. And I think his bat eventually will catch up. I'm not giving up on him, and I really don't want to trade him. I don't want to trade him or DeVries. We got to keep somebody, for crying out loud, in a Padre uniform. But I'm going to hang with Ethan Salas. He's kind of my guy right now. He's a guy that I like a lot. I think he's going to end up hitting. Okay, what else we got here today? Mary Sue, who has been your favorite Padre this season? Well, I don't know about favorite, but I like a lot of these guys on this ball club. I really like Luis Arraez. I like his attitude. I think he's worked hard to become a better first baseman. I don't think he's having a great year right now. I like them all. I mean, Fernando's my favorite player. I've said that time and time again. But I like everybody on the ball club. I think they're all doing a pretty good job. Cronenworth showing signs here and there of coming around. Hopefully he can get going. Xander's obviously gotten better. Gavin Sheets was a guy that I thought Padres could get more out of than the White Sox did. He's another guy. What are they going to do with him for next year? He signed a minor league contract, got a major league deal. He's still, I believe, under arbitration, so they could bring him back next year. But you know what? I don't know if I have a favorite Padre this year. I like Ariza. I think he's got a little flair to his game, and but like I said, I love Fernando. I just want Fernando to be happy, and I want to see him go out there and play to the utmost ability. Right now, I don't know if Fernando will make the All-Star team. I mean, he's not, he's got some home runs, not a lot of RBIs. He's got a few stolen bases. Uh, I think baseball fans want to see Fernando in the All-Star game, but I'm not sure he's going to make it. Will Suarez make it? 22 saves, he might. Right now, Manny's a starter, deservedly so. Manny having a good year. 1 for 4 last night for Manny, hitting just a little over 300 now. Average has gone down a little bit, but he's been over 300 pretty much all year. But that's kind of, so I hate to kind of cop out on you on that, but a lot of guys I think are doing a pretty good job. And, I think Jackson Merrill, obviously, the way he goes about his business, being a young guy, I like him a great deal. I like all the guys. There's not one guy that I dislike. I mean, I have to criticize their play and critique it from time to time, but there's not one guy that I dislike. But I kind of like Rise's flair. Even when he fouls off a pitch, he kind of has a little fun with it. All right, what else we got here today? I guess that's it. I guess we're going to be done. Now, remember, tomorrow night, folks, we got a special show, 7 o'clock. They're fun. They're a lot of fun, so make sure you're done eating, or you could even be eating while you watch. But we'll be back in tomorrow night. We'll break down the entire series between the Padres and Washington. We'll get you ready for Cincinnati. We'll have an update on Yu Darvish, how he does in a simulated game tonight up at Lake Elsinore, and all that good stuff. Again, please subscribe. Please like. Make sure to set your notifications so you don't miss a show. And we'll look forward to joining you tomorrow night. Also, tomorrow night, we got a very special guest tomorrow night. Jonathan Oliveri. And Jonathan and his family are putting on a huge card and memorabilia show this weekend down at the Hanlery Hotel. It'll be on Saturday and Sunday. And this is going to be fun. I'm going. I'm going on Saturday. I'm taking my 7-year-old grandson and my son-in-law. We're going to go down there and we're going to have some fun. And tomorrow night, Jonathan is going to come on at about 7:30. And he's going to show some things that he's going to be selling this weekend. But and I would encourage you to go online, get all the information. We'll give it to you tomorrow night. You may want to buy tickets ahead of time. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're into memorabilia, baseball cards, football cards, other sports memorabilia, this is the place to be this summer. The Hanlery Hotel on Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, it opens at 10, closes at 6. On Sunday, 10 to 5. And we'll tell you all about it tomorrow night. And I think I'll probably bump into you because I know a lot of you are probably going to take me up on this offer and show up on Saturday or Sunday. So until tomorrow night, enjoy the game today. We'll be back in Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And remember, tell a friend about the Coach John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.